Hello, hello, Otafest podcast listeners. I'm Angelo, and I'm here with Nancy and Jay for this week's weekly installment of the Weekly Otafest podcast.
Tis us.
Hello.
Man, it's getting expensive sourcing a brand new Nancy and a brand new Jay every single week.
I know. We gotta
Where
really
do
cut
you
down on
get
those
them?
cloning chambers. Those things are expensive.
But breaking news practically generates itself. Get ready to experience the hottest anime nightclub performance of the year at Otafest 2023 with none other than Anime Nightclub 3. ANC 3 is not your average DJ group. These Canadian brothers have traveled all over the country, entertaining audiences with their mind-blowing performances that feature an electrifying mix of anime, hip-hop, K-pop, EDM. They're the ultimate party starters.
And in case you didn't notice, time and tickets are running out to join Otafest and Goro and Gun's Culinary Anime Season 2. Indulge in a 4-course meal with drink, entertainment, and fun decor in this unique anime-inspired dining experience. So reserve your seat before it's too late. And it's been a really long time coming, but we finally get to welcome Erica Lindbeck to Otafest 2023. You may recognize her from Final Fantasy VII Remake as Jessie, Luna in Hell of a Boss, Emera Blight in The Owl House, Ducky in Demon Slayer, and Cassie Cage in Mortal Kombat 11, among many, many, many other accomplishments. Holy. She also has lent her voice to special projects and features as Barbie.
And a reminder, to mitigate the crowding and queuing issues from last year, we have made a few changes, including extending exhibitor hall hours, adding ticket caps, removing in-person sales on Otafest Saturday, and other measures. All information and tickets can be found at otafest.com.
Let's go. The more announcements we read every single week, I'm learning more and more about what's coming out to Otafest, and I am super excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, going back to 3 days,
yeah.
having all these amazing guests coming. It's just, the excitement is so real.
Anime Nightclub 3 was here last year. They performed for us. They did an amazing job at the dance. They're super hyped.
I remember them. They brought the energy.
Honestly, I was super happy to extend the invite to them again this year, like hoping that we could work out, a performance contract, because they're just super fun to be around. They're really, really
Engaging.
honest about the energy that they bring. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's an
Yeah.
act, to be honest.
Oh, no. It is like 100% sincere, engaging, hype energy. It's so wholesome and so fun.
Last year, Dio and I, we were about to hit the hay. It was like 9 p.m. We were exhausted. We were so close to just passing out. And I was like, Dio, we got to go down. We got to go down to the room. We got to see these guys. They reawakened us for the next 4 hours.
They are the caffeine.
They are the caffeine. It was wonderful.
Yes.
Oh, I'm so
And
excited. So
also-
excited to see them again.
In a strange way, we're welcoming back another guest in Erica Lindbeck,
Every time that we read,
in the way that we didn't get to host her before.
Yeah, but she was still a fantastic guest when we did the virtual one
True.
a couple of years ago. She was so fun to have on
every
with us.
time we read her announcement, there is just more characters that I know and love
To
that I
add to
didn't
her
realize
roster.
she's
I
voiced
know.
before.
I know.
I was just reading this and I was like, wait, she was Luna in Hell of a Boss? Like, what? I didn't know that. Oh,
Yeah.
she is absolutely
So accomplished.
a prolific voice actor.
So accomplished. One day I'll grow up and be like her.
She's the English dub for Ritsuko in Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Oh my
Evangelion.
gosh.
Wait, really?
Yeah, she is.
Wait,
She is.
the recent movies or the original or all of them?
From what I can see, it's whatever I guess it's the Netflix release. So
Okay.
Oh.
yeah.
Because I was gonna say, if it was what was it, ADV, the dub from back in the 90s, I don't think she was voice acting back then, was she?
That would be. I don't think so. I don't think she would have been old enough, or she
She's
would have been
ageless.
very young.
She's ageless. She will be one of the ones that we also pop into the cloning machine so that we can just keep her glory going forever.
Yes.
Oh God.
Yes.
She's also Kaori in Your Lie in April. She's
Oh
the
my gosh.
She's the liar. Liar in April. Oh God, it's April now. She's lying to us now.
Oh
It's
my
April.
god.
It's April. It's next month. It's happening.
Yeah. Oh God. Everything's
And
happening.
what an April it is. Like, I don't know about you guys. I am taking my few minutes to be old man praises Cloud for a second. This doesn't happen very
good.
often.
Oh, good.
The weather over this last week has been so nice.
Lovely.
So good. Like,
Winter has been a long time. This past season, I suppose.
since record keeping began this year,
Since all
we
of
have had the
time.
longest stretch of days with a low below zero in a row. We had like 120 days in a row with a low below zero.
Honey, 20
Damn.
days.
So
That's
this
an
Sunday,
interesting
this
metric.
Sunday that just passed,
Sunday.
is the
Sunday.
first day where the low
Was only 0.
isn't literally freezing cold.
From here on out, I think it's going to be mostly double digits from this point on, which is nice.
So spring is actually here? Is it safe to say
Spring
that?
is here. I think it's
is
here.
here.
Spring has sprung.
This is real spring, not any of the previous fake springs or any of the previous pretend springs.
False.
This is the real one.
False.
I remember those days we were getting in February where it was like +4,
12.
+5. And I was like, oh, spring is here. I'm going to get my bike fixed up. And I'm going to go for a bike
And
ride.
then right at the end of March, it slapped you in the face and said, "Haha, got you."
Legitimately, I would have been fine biking in like -5 if we didn't get all that snow and ice.
Yeah.
But I finally did it. I finally busted out the bike. I finally took a nice ride. And it was so comfy.
Nice.
So warm.
Very nice. No saddle soreness for your first ride?
Surprisingly, no. Surprisingly, no. I made sure to maintain my bike. I think I need to oil my chain. That is the one thing that I didn't do. But everything else is going well.
Excellent. Excellent. To commemorate spring, I went and got a haircut, which is something that I just don't do enough of.
Oh, yes, that's right.
And now my hair feels a lot lighter.
That's good.
It feels like there's a lot less weight on me. It feels nice and ready for spring. I'm ready for the warm.
I intimately know that feeling.
I didn't expect this to come up. I cut my own hair.
Ooh,
Same, for
the
very
first time.
nice.
Well,
Oh, for the first time. Let's go.
yeah, for the
Let's
first time.
go. Did it turn out the way you wanted?
I mean, it's not like it was like a difficult hairstyle, but I was like, I don't know what to do, hopefully for like the back of my head, but I think it worked out.
So my
Nicely done.
strategy for cutting my own hair is drag the electric razor against my skin until there's no long parts. It's supremely easy. But how did your hair cutting go, Jay?
Well, seeing as I have hair,
Hey,
I
now.
basically just went, well, it was kind of like, it was kind of a result of a few things. Like, so maybe about a couple of months ago, boy, we're getting old because the stuff we're talking about is all old people things.
remember
cutting
my hair once.
So
lady at the store rubbed my head nicely.
if you ever recall, like, Air Miles, like the program, well, they're basically dead in the water, pretty much. They
Yes.
announced, I think,
Yes.
recently that they're essentially shutting down, or they're like reducing most of their offerings, or whatever it might be. I don't really care about that. I honestly never really accumulated many of their points because I only ever
Me
got
neither.
them from one grocery store here in Calgary, anyways, on a semi-regular basis. And it's not like I buy a lot of stuff, so I accumulated points slowly, is what I'm saying. So I was
I
like,
accumulated
okay.
enough points to expire before I ever get to redeem them for anything.
Yeah, that thing
points-
also sucks.
I used my points at Sobeys liquor stores to get $10 off every few months.
Oh, nice.
See, that wouldn't be too bad, but I was just like, oh, I'll let them accumulate, see if I can ever use them for anything. Anyway, so Air Miles is again sort of becoming a decrepit points system. So I finally logged on to their thing, their catalog essentially, and be like, oh, what can I actually redeem? And then I was like, I could redeem them for hair clippers. Like I have a whole set of hair clippers now.
Oh, I see.
And I was like, it's not like my current hairstyle is particularly difficult, I think, to manage if I do it myself. But I have never cut my own hair before, even accidentally. So I was like, I can save $40 every 2 months doing this. It wouldn't be too bad.
Okay.
So it was a bit of an adventure, kind of like, because I didn't go out and buy a second mirror. I probably should buy a second mirror, but I just didn't care enough for like the rear. But like, I'm just doing it in the bathroom. I have like the clippers, just plug it in, just like, bzz, I'm like, it's time. Like it's a commitment now. And then, I don't know. Overall, it went well. Like I knew exactly kind of what I was going for. Again, my only bad thing is I didn't know exactly how the rear was gonna sort of end up as, but I kind of figured that as long as I covered the portion of long hair and like pulled that upwards and away, I could essentially clean up that section without screwing it up too bad. Everything else was pretty much just a standard shave job, and everything else just left long. So
Nice.
Nicely done.
not too big of an
Congratulations.
adventure, but still kind of being like, I don't want to have to go back to my barber. Not that I don't think they're a good person or like the $40 is a big deal, but I don't want to go back looking like I fucked up my own hair.
Oh, I see. You don't want to go back as an apology. You want
Yeah.
to go back and be like, I'm sorry, I tried to do your job. I know I couldn't
Exactly.
do a good enough job, but I didn't
Exactly.
think it would be this bad. Can please fix it?
Yeah.
I can imagine Jay outside of their door on his hands.
It's
and
raining.
knees.
It's raining. Yeah.
It's
yeah.
overcast and raining.
Sir,
So
Sensei, I tried to
Master.
replace you, but I was mistaken.
yeah.
Please rectify this.
So
Take
there's
pity
all of
on
that,
me.
basically.
Forgive me for my sins.
Yeah, that was actually my greatest fear approaching this whole thing. Wasn't that I messed up, is that because I would want to have it fixed, and I don't know why I would have to go back to the same barber, but I feel like they would deserve it most.
oh,
right?
absolutely.
That's true.
Absolutely
I could
they
see
would.
that.
Yeah,
Now, I have to ask, did you get yourself wired clippers or like
wired.
rechargeable
Actually, technically,
cordless?
there's two. It came with a tiny little one that I think is for like touch-ups and stuff like that, and the other one is just like a standard wired buzzy boy.
So
Interesting.
when I first started cutting my hair,
Mm-hmm.
I made you could argue that it was a mistake, but it was a mistake like 3 years in the making.
Oh dear.
I made the choice of getting a rechargeable set of clippers, right?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense
And-
to me to have rechargeable clippers.
It's really nice not having the cord in the way, the
Yeah.
electrical cord.
Yeah.
But 3 years later, the clipper part still worked fine,
But the battery
but the
died.
batteries were dying down.
Yeah.
And so there was one day where I was cutting my hair. I got halfway through and they just stopped.
Oh no.
They were like, you know what? We have no more juice left. Get bent. And I was like, this is something of a problem. What can I do about this? I don't have any other clippers right now, and do I really want to go to Walmart with half my head shaved? And while, quite frankly, I would still probably be the most fashionable person at Walmart with half of my hair missing, I still didn't want to go to Walmart in that situation. I pried open the clippers. I looked inside and saw that they were nickel cadmium cells, like
Ooh.
the cheapest, most garbage AA batteries that you can effectively get.
Oh,
Now,
wow.
I didn't have any rechargeable AAs, but I had some regular ones. So I soldered in some regular AAs, got myself shaved up all the way. And I was still working at the source at this point in time. So I could buy some new rechargeable batteries for very cheap. I soldered them in, and these clippers worked for another year.
I mean, that sounds good.
And then the exact same thing happened.
I'm going to go ahead and say that. Now, I don't know if you meant to say that you were going to work or something like that, but you kind of left that out. You just said that you're going to Walmart. And I'm just like, hats exist.
I actually, at this point in time, the only hats that I had, I think, was a rabbit fur ushanka for the winter. And this wasn't winter. That would have been weird.
That would have been...
It's not weird. It's Canada. It's fine.
That would have been a
You
little out of
can't
place.
wear that in the summer.
You can
No,
wear
you
that in the
can't.
summer. You shouldn't?
If you're
For
trying to
heat?
make a statement, maybe. I feel like that'd be a little weird.
I felt really resourceful at the time. Just like being like, haha, I fixed my clippers. I'm the big man here. And I mean, the electric motor is what eventually failed. The batteries were still holding a charge when the whole thing died. But
Like, props to you for making it last and, like, for not just tossing it the first time something goes a little wrong.
I mean, I had electric motors I could have put into it, but no. No.
That doesn't seem like a good
This
idea.
was... I was done with this thing. So now I have some wired ones, and they're fantastic. I think I've had the same set for like 4 years now, and they still feel like new.
Nice.
Yeah.
I just occasionally trim my bangs myself and then regret it and then go and get someone else to do it for me.
So you have done the regret trip to the barbers. I see.
So I haven't done the regret trip to the barbers. What I have done is give myself bangs, fight with them a bunch, keep snipping away at them and like trying to reshape them, and then eventually just giving up and just not styling them properly, and then I just let them grow out. And then it's like another 4 months later, I go back to my stylist and it doesn't really look like I did anything because it's all grown out. I'm sure she knows. You can tell. Like that, the white part in the front is like shorter than the other hair on my head. Clearly at some point I trimmed them shorter than the rest. But you know, she's very classy and she doesn't bring it up unless I do.
It's not her first rodeo.
No. I'm sure she's seen more interesting mistakes come in, like attempted peroxide jobs at home. I'm sure she's seen tons of those.
No.
Yeah.
I can imagine. I remember when people in my high school discovered you could do that. And I don't know why. Like, early 2000s, for some reason, like, really bleach blonde, straw blonde fucking garbage hair was in style at the time. We wore an onion on our belt, as was the style at the time. And so people would just go to Shoppers Drug Mart, buy up the isopropyl alcohol or the hydrogen peroxide.
Okay,
And the next day they would have
hold on.
fried blonde hair.
I have a
Oof.
thing about this, but not.
Oof.
So there's two things. First of all, I've had blonde hair, but I did have it done at a stylist or a salon
Proper
or whatever.
salon.
Yeah. Number two, so this ties into both like, you whippersnappers, but like 90s, as that was part of the 90s aesthetic, was bleach blonde hair. There was definitely a lot of like celebs or like popular characters in media that had bleach blonde hair. My first
Like
one
Guy
that
Fieri is like if the 90s never ended.
yeah. And it's interesting because I know that, or I've heard, because I certainly don't participate, that 90s fashion is sort of back. And I've definitely seen it, like when I ride on like transit and stuff, when there's kids in Canadian tuxedos, full denim with little patches, and then it's all like baggy, and like it definitely looks like the 90s. And their hair is sort of also 90s cuts. I don't know how to describe it, but it's sort of like the half mullet that they kind of used to have. I don't know how to describe it.
Wait a minute, are you talking about like the rat tail?
No, I don't
When
think
I
I
was-
don't think kids are going all full rat tail, but I definitely see like full 90s fash.
When I was a young child in the mid 90s, for about 1 week I had a rat tail, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever.
Wow.
And look at you now, buddy.
Look at you now. You're
I was a horrible
6,000%
child.
cooler.
Yes. Yes. That's because the rat tail is like an actual coolness debuff.
You
But
needed the
I know what you
debuff
mean,
to
Jay.
stabilize.
Yeah.
I've seen jeans in stores these days that have the boxy aesthetic that we saw in the 90s.
Yeah, dude. But
Like, I don't know
but
if
I've seen
anyone here
like kids
remembers.
actually wearing them again, like, and I don't think it looks
Intentionally?
terrible, but I mean, like, they're, I guess, trying to be fashionable. I'm like, I don't even know where you get this. Are you thrifting or are you pulling this stuff from like your parents' closets? I don't know what's
They're
happening.
new. They're made new. So if you remember the Jean Co jeans that were like super baggy and super straight leg and just real fucking weird, I had some of those. Not the Jean Co jeans, the knockoff.
Yo,
ones.
but like they had also like, remember 90s jeans also
they were
had
also
like
so comfy.
all the embroidery that was on it. For girls, there were like flowers and stuff. For guys, it would be like dragons or tigers.
I feel like we saw some stuff like that at Nordstrom last weekend.
We absolutely did. We saw a jean jacket, like a
no
jean
good.
jacket bodice, and the sleeves were all crocheted.
What do you mean bodice?
Like a jean
like a
jacket,
denim,
like yes.
a denim bodice. Blah, my
denim-
mouth did not want to say those words because I am not a fashionista, but I feel like that's still a crime.
Yes. Oh,
Well,
we saw
there
so
were-
many crimes at Nordstrom. It was
It
great.
was, yeah. I mean, Nordstrom was going out of business. Of course, we had to go take a look.
You know what? Part of me was like, when I saw that stuff there, I was like, wow, no wonder you guys are going out of business. God damn.
And
You
then
guys
you
are
took
stuck
a
in the
look at
90s.
We played the Nordstrom price tag game where you look at something and you're like, look at this. It's something. Now take a guess at what's on the sticker. I think one time I blew Angelo's mind with like a $1,300 jacket, and it wasn't even
Yes.
like a large jacket. There wasn't like a
It
lot of
wasn't even a
material
nice
in it.
jacket.
It was a nice jacket. It was like a nice motorcycle kind of jacket, you know, but it wasn't. It was not $1,300.
No.
I mean,
Like,
it was.
I remember
That's the
last
problem.
episode. Last episode, I said that, oh, Nordstrom, I walked in front of that store and it smelled like money, so I didn't go inside. I was right.
But
I
the
was
problem
right.
with Nordstrom, and I'm gonna throw that out there, is that Nordstrom isn't even like nice. It's not.
I know. But
Like we
It's,
have,
it's
we
nice,
have
nice to
stores.
me.
We have stores
saw some
in
things there.
Calgary. We have retailers in Calgary that I may or may not have been in before, where they actually have, like, you know, the bougie shit. I would say
The
I would say
lowest
that
price tag was
Nordstrom
probably
yeah, Nordstrom
several
is like
hundreds.
Nordstrom
like the
is
entry
normal
level
people
bouge.
rich store.
it's
entry level
bouge.
bouge.
Yeah,
They're like B tier bouge, is what you're saying.
yeah.
Exactly. They're bougie for normies like me.
Yeah, they're bougie for.
I mean, they're bougie for
plebes like me.
for me as well. I'm just saying that Nordstrom's is not the cream of the crop when it comes
could be
to
worse.
yeah.
But we saw some really nice pieces there. Like, we went there kind of looking for Dio to get some wedding
Attire.
kit, some attire that she could be wearing to a friend's wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the stuff that we saw there was just like mind expanding in the way of how cool it was. There was this one blazer that Nancy picked out and showed Dio. It
God,
was
I
super
loved it.
cool. It looked really nice in the front, and it was backless.
Yeah, it had like
My
a really
God,
big
it was
back
only
cutout,
front.
and it was just like it had like a really nice cutout in the back, basically from your mid back down to like high hip maybe. But it was like this very beautifully, like it was intentional. It, like all of the seams were done really well. It was a well-tailored piece. But
And it
oh
had
my
some
God,
nice
the price
layering.
tag on it.
It was $1,300, right? Or was
Yeah.
it $1,400?
Was that the $1,300?
That was the $1,300 thing.
Cool.
Because it had
Well, that
it
was
had
one of
like
the
a really
things.
nice like motorcycle jacket kind of like lapel look in the front, and it had like buttons to make it look more blazery. But then in the back, it was like, oh.
I mean,
get it.
that was a sort of piece where you absolutely layer with another nice, like, dress or skirt or
You put like a
something
corset
else.
on underneath, and that's your full.
And it is
Yeah,
very chic formal wear.
extremely.
This other nice skirt that we saw this high-waisted skirt or dress that had some excellent ruffling to it. It was very pretty. Dio was so close to trying it on. And then we realized it was $1,250, I think it was.
Don't get me
And
wrong.
at that point,
it was
it's like-
gorgeous. It was
Oh,
made
it was
out of
fantastic.
gorgeous materials. All of the
felt
tailoring
nice.
was so nicely done. It was never to touch water ever. You could never get water on it. You'd be hard
then she
pressed
couldn't
to try
she
and
couldn't have
hand
worn
wash
it for that wedding event in April, because that would have been held in a environment where sky water is always a thing.
Sky water
Yes,
is the thing.
Vancouver is known to sky water.
It's true.
But yeah, going into Nordstrom was an experience. Like, what was crazy is that there were a lot of things in a price range there I could almost justify it. Like a $50 bow tie, I could justify it. But being placed next to a $500 bow tie and being like, wait, why is this one $5? They feel about the same. Both of them have aesthetically pleasing designs. There's not even any kind of tag for the maker on either of them. Why is this one $500? Ah!
I think the $500 one actually felt worse.
Yeah.
That was the thing that blew my mind.
Oh, God. And then we saw a purse in a clearance bin that had just, like, swatches of animal skin on it. It was like, this bag is made with the skins of 2 of every animal. And it was hideous.
It was honestly hideous.
Over $1,000
You just don't know how to accessorize it.
in a clearance bin.
Really.
I'm sorry, but I'm not trying to accessorize with 2 of every animal.
Then you're not good enough for Noah.
I'm not good enough for Noah.
Yep.
I don't want to be on his boat.
We're making our own boat.
I'll just ride out the flood in a tire tube inflated.
We'll
Okay.
make our own boat. And our own boat will have the Super Mario movie playing on it.
Yes. Yes. We'll have our own private movie theater playing the Super Mario movie all the time. 100 days and 100 nights of the Super Mario movie.
Oh God.
And not the 1990s version.
No,
Oh,
that's the
Lord.
Super Mario Bros. This
Yeah,
is the
Super Mario
movie.
Bros. So, have
Have-
either of you seen the Super Mario movie yet?
No.
I went yesterday.
And?
Tell us.
And?
It's definitely a kids movie. In
Okay.
that, like, it's very light on story. Like, you're not going. It's not winning the Oscar for best original screenplay.
So,
But I will say, like, it's super fun. It's super quick paced. I would say, like, it's not no part felt like it was dragging or lagging behind. All the characters are fun. I would say that because of the overall feel of the movie, the Chris Pratt thing is not so much a thing. But I would also say that there are other slightly weird voice direction decisions.
Oh?
But not
Really?
in a
Okay.
really bad way. Just that, like, I don't feel like this is how a character would sound. Doesn't necessarily mean it was bad. You don't notice it that much. Again, it's a kids movie. Like, it goes by at the pace of a kids movie. Didn't feel slow. Didn't feel like you were sitting there doing nothing. Lots of references, lots of retro references. It's fun. It's exactly what you
heard-
should expect, from a Mario kids movie,
I heard that it was legitimately a love letter to the Mario franchise. If you can confirm or deny that. That anyone who's been a
think
Mario
so.
fan for a very long time would enjoy it.
I think so. I mean, I would say that they do a good job of writing a love letter that doesn't pander necessarily. Like they're not necessarily making like a very concerted effort to try to say like appeal only to the retro audience, the older audience, or they're not necessarily making a huge appeal to the kids. Except there's one character. One character kind of, I would say they're fun initially, but they kind of really they get a little grating at the end.
Who was it? Was it Toad or was it
No,
Luigi?
Toad was a really good character. Luigi's a decent character too. All the core characters are fine. Generally, again, if you could say, I would say that. So Cranky Kong is in it, and if anyone knows Cranky Kong,
wow.
Cranky Kong.
I love Cranky Kong.
But you know the lore that Cranky Kong is Donkey Kong, right?
Yes, Cranky Kong is Donkey Kong from the original Donkey
Yeah,
Kong.
like when we say original Donkey Kong, we mean like 1970s, right? 1970 or
Back
1980s?
when Mario wasn't called Mario.
Yeah, when
back
he was
when
Jumpman.
he was called Jumpman.
Yeah, that's Cranky Kong is that Donkey Kong. That's been established in lore for a while. But Cranky Kong's in there, and I just don't think he like sounded like Cranky Kong should. That's my take on it. But but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just whatever. But there's a character, it's a side character that I was talking about that kind of gets grating, and it's actually a Luma. It's not a spoiler because that character doesn't do anything, to be honest. It's just comic relief. But the shtick is funny but weird at first, and then they kind of start going like, hey, like more of this.
Start shoving it
Do
in
the
your
thing.
face.
Do the thing again. You know, the one.
Isn't that funny?
It is the
Isn't that
one
funny?
trick. The one trick
Look.
pony. It's back. It's back.
Yes.
It came back around.
I see what you mean.
It doesn't happen like it's not persistent, but from the point you meet the character, I think there's another like 6 instances of it showing up, and then every time it's the same thing, up until the end of the movie.
Ooh.
So it's kind of like, all right, like I get it. And the weird thing is, it's definitely not for the kids. Like that character, strangely, is not written for the children. It is actually distinctly written for the adult audience.
Interesting.
Again, there's not really any spoiler to it, so I don't feel bad about talking about it at all. I just think that it gets a little obnoxious. But the first time it appears and the second time it appears, it's sort of like, okay, like I get it. You know, it's not that it's not kind of funny, but it's good. It's a good movie overall.
The fact that we got a good video game movie, not gonna lie, that is exceedingly rare. That almost never happens.
I've been told the new Dungeons and Dragons movie is also pretty good.
But I would not
Damn.
argue that to be a video game movie. It's
I
an
mean,
adaptation. It's a
yeah.
game adaptation movie. But it's
One
certainly...
could make the argument that a lot of RPG systems have come from or inspired by.
But it's
by.
not. But I would say that the difference between, for example, a Mario movie or any other sort of video game movie.
It's an established video game world.
Exactly.
With characters and
D&D
lore.
Can just be
And D&D is
anywhere,
just a
anytime,
framework.
anyone. Yes.
But it is kind of nice that the new one wasn't
didn't
terrible.
bomb. Yeah, I hear it didn't bomb, which is good because apparently the first one sucked real bad.
Apparently?
I've never seen it.
I can't say. I've never seen
First
it.
one?
There's a first one.
Are you talking... Was there a recent first one, like in the last 5 years?
No, it was
This is
quite
like
a while
Or are we
back.
talking like
90s.
early 2000s or 90s?
90s,
It was quite
I
a
think.
while back.
I think that's one.
Okay.
I think instead of Morbid, maybe we should watch that.
Yeah,
I want a
okay.
Morb.
You want to?
I want a Morb.
All right.
Part of me wants to never see Morbius, so I can say that it's the best movie I've never seen. The other part of me wants to Morb.
All right.
The Morbin.
But yeah, like
I want to say it's Morbin time.
I've heard some really good things about the Dungeons and Dragons movie. I don't know if I'm probably not going to see it in theaters, but I'll probably see it at some point when it comes out to streaming or something like that.
if you were to compare the overall movie quality of the Super Mario movie to Detective Pikachu, which would you say is the better movie? Or can they even be compared?
I would say that Detective Pikachu, to me, I don't know if it's because I actually do harbor like a deeper love for Pokemon than I ever have for Mario, even though I do like Mario games quite a bit. I always find them fun to play, and I've never had like a super bad time with a Mario game. I would even say that I have a higher completion rate of Mario games to Pokemon games, because there are as Pokemon as a franchise have evolved, they definitely left behind some of the gameplay things that I liked growing up in that franchise, whereas Mario has stayed more consistent. So therefore,
Really?
well, Mario is kind of more. Mario is lighter on the story, for one thing. Like, Mario is, generally speaking, go save the princess, whereas
Yes.
Pokemon
No, I was.
has this whole thing where at first it was go stop the bad guys, then it became save the world from super powerful Pokemon, and in the meantime they also start to they Pokemon has its own issues that Mario doesn't really have as many of, because Mario simplifies a lot of it down. So to talk about the movie side of things, I think Detective Pikachu is, again, it appeals to me more, but I think they're both done just the way they need to be done. Like, I don't think it's an easy comparison to be like one is absolutely
Fair.
better, but it is easier to say that Pokemon is more fun, I think, to watch, because you get to see a realization of Pokemon in the real world, whereas Mario is Mario in its Mario world. Like, there's no
I think that's a pretty
live
fair
action
comparison.
look at it. Yeah, like Pokemon has always been. I've never known anyone for Mario to go like, oh, I sure wish Mario were real and this is what I could do in Mario. But in Pokemon, like, so many times, how many times have you heard like, I wish I could have been a Pokemon trainer growing up and going on that adventure and doing that thing. That's what Detective Pikachu taps into. That's a different thing.
That's fair. They're tapping into two very different feelings.
Yeah.
Very different
Yeah.
forms of nostalgia.
Yeah, I think so.
Although I can't believe you said, the way you were trying to say it, it sounded like, oh, Pokemon, they've changed their gameplay mechanics up so much that I just can't enjoy it anymore. Whereas Mario is the same core mechanics I've always enjoyed. And I was just sitting here being like, what? Nani? The Pokemon formula has not changed at all over the last 25 years. Whereas at least Mario has changed drastically. Basically every single Mario game is a different game completely. Like, some games you're jumping, some games you're
Jumping.
power washing Delfino Plaza, other games you're going to different planets, in other games you're partying or playing tennis. Like, come on.
Yeah, but I'm only talking about the main games, and in the main games, Mario's goals and his gameplay are, even with little twerks and quirks relevant to that specific game, they're all essentially the same. It's running and jumping. It's very movement based. It's about collecting. It's always about collecting stars.
And
Yeah.
Pokemon isn't?
Pokemon, you don't have to collect. You do not have to collect Pokemon. Pokemon are there.
Gotta catch 'em all.
Your heart is not true. Speaking of the same gameplay mechanic, this is funny as hell. So on April Fools,
Oh, good.
Sega launched a new Sonic game.
Yes, they did.
But it is not your Sonic is fast, gotta go fast Sonic game. It is a murder mystery visual novel by the name of The Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog. And my favorite thing about it is right now is that, first of all, it's free, so anyone can play it on Steam. Number two, it is the highest rated Sonic game on Steam.
That's wonderful.
Wait, actually?
And I will say that I did take a quick look. There are like Sonic games on Steam that are like 90, high 90 or low 90s scoring on Steam, but this game is currently higher and above all of those other Sonic games. It turns out you
Correct me
didn't
if
want
I'm
him
wrong.
to be fast, you wanted him to be dead and forever slow.
So this game was more of like a visual novel, right? Or was it more like a Phoenix Wright like of game?
So I have not played it yet. I haven't actually
Okay.
seen enough gameplay to know which way it leans into exactly. I did download it though. I'm ready to play.
You
but
done downloaded it? Oh my gosh.
yeah,
This is going to be fun.
actually,
can't wait.
someone else is playing it right now.
Are you looking at Twitch?
No, I'm looking at my Steam page. It says who's
Oh, you're looking
playing.
at your friends list, I see.
Oh my god. We're trying to record a podcast, but Jay's out here trying to play video games. I can't
I'm just
believe.
trying to make my Sonic OC, okay?
Oh my gosh.
But the only thing that I knew about this game is that there are certain other legendary video game detectives, such as Phoenix Wright. And if you
What?
try to name your character in The Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog as a few of these characters, it will reject the name.
What? So I
there was
can't
an instance
name
that
mine
people
Herschel Layton? I can't
can't
be
be-
Professor Layton?
I can't be Dick Tracy.
Oh,
You
what
can't
the
be
heck?
Dick Tracy. You actually can't. Professor Layton you might be able to get. Phoenix Wright was also something that didn't work. And interestingly enough, Among Us didn't work.
Interesting.
Among
Interesting.
Us.
But look at the I put a quick screenshot into the chat here. It actually looks really good. Like the art
art of
is
the game looks
super on
fantastic.
point. It actually looks super fun. I want to find a little bit of time and hop into it, or if one of you two want to stream it sometime, that'd be
That'd be
fantastic.
fun. That'd be
That'd
fun.
be fun.
Yeah.
But what it actually came down to, Sega wasn't being cheeky. They weren't banning the name of rival games at all. It was actually an instance of the Scunthorpe problem.
Oh,
And the Scunthorpe problem, if you're not familiar
yes,
with
I
it,
do know it.
is legitimate words that happen to contain a dirty word.
Ah,
Yes.
yes. Something that
And
is
so the
a
word
prevalent
filter
issue.
Yeah, that happens with
Was
like
just a little
lot
bit
of
too eager.
businesses,
Asian-
companies.
Asian censoring.
Yeah.
I mean, even the Otafest forums, back when we had forums, had its own Scunthorpe problem with the word filter that was implemented. I remember that intimately.
Yep.
I remember I would routinely break that system.
I think
The
I got the
forums were
word
fun.
scumbag
What about
like partly banned or something. It was weird.
what about Phoenix Wright is that would trigger it?
I can't Right. The word phoenix contains hoe.
Oh,
I literally could not think of. You know what I thought? I was like, "There's pho," because I'm
Yes.
yeah, I love pho.
If you drop the P, the next
There is
three
hoe.
letters spell hoe.
oh golly.
I was like, is it some weird stretch where it's like Phoenix could spell like Phoenix?
Oh my god.
Nope.
And I was like, no, that's a big stretch, boy. I love
That's a
it.
big stretch.
I used the word accumulation on the weekend in a Genshin team chat, and it absolutely starred out a bunch of letters inside that word.
Ah,
The best is when that happens and you're like, oh, I didn't even realize that word was in there.
Yeah, like you don't think about it that
No.
way.
Back when I was a wee child, a wee babby, there were certain words that I learned were dirty words specifically
because of
that. I was
that.
like, wait,
Yeah.
yes.
That's
Yes.
kind of funny, right? I
remember.
remember, and this is the back-breaking whiplash back to Habbo Hotel.
Oh no.
where they had a pretty strong like word filter. I'm actually gonna
Was
literally
the pool closed?
pool close.
Was the pool closed?
Oh no.
Pool sometimes
no.
has to be closed.
Oh no.
I can't go
It's
further.
still up. It's still a real
Habbo Hotel?
thing.
Oh yeah. Habbo Hotel totally exists.
That's wild, dude. Well, guess what?
Anyway.
I guess we'll be playing this for the next 3.
Yeah, we're gonna have some fun with this one, I think. And
Spending all of Easter weekend
on Habbo Hotel.
playing Habbo Hotel.
I'll meet you there. Everyone should play. I don't know why I
And-
spent that. Why did I spend so much time? Why did I ever spend time on Habbo Hotel? What is the point?
It was a chat room.
I guess.
And we're gonna spend a lot of time looking forward to the next episode of the Otafest podcast.
we'll
Bye-bye.
have updates
Bye-bye.
on Habbo Hotel. Goodbye.